Today we're going to be watching Andy Hoog versus Mirko Cropcop, and I'm going to provide you guys with scoring and commentary because all of these used to be done in Japanese. Now, I have been doing this with a number of fights. We've been mostly focusing on smaller guys like Tenshin versus Rodtang or K-1 max fights at 154 pounds, and I've had a lot of requests to go back to the old golden era of K-1 and focus on some heavyweights. So that is what we're going to be covering today. Classic fight between K-1 legend Andy Hoog with his karate background and Mirko Cropcop with that power left round kick. So guys, let's get started. I'm going to watch along with you. I'm going to give you some commentary, give you my thoughts. We're just going to have some fun watching these amazing competitors put on a performance for us. This is from 2000, 21 years ago. Both of these guys, large competitors, like heavyweights, but compared to the heavyweights nowadays, actually quite small, especially Andy Hoog. And when we look at Mirko Cropcop, he's substantially smaller than he is now. The way I've seen him in the past 10 years when he was competing in UFC, he's definitely got a slimmer build. The interesting thing here is Cropcop with his powerful left round kick, which people recognize as his technique. It might be a little harder for him to utilize because he's fighting a southpaw. A lot of times southpaws, who have been that way their whole life, fighting with that right hand in front, they have a lot of success against somebody who has the backward stance from them. But then they fight somebody with the same stance, and that favorite technique of theirs, which works very well against the orthodox fighters, no longer works. So we'll see if he can get it going in this fight. Andy Hoog, just amazing at the spinning techniques. Watch out for those. Watch out for that axe kick that he throws. He gets it so high and whips it down. There's a spinning technique right there. It's been a while. I don't even know if I ever watched this fight. I mean, I was watching all the K-1 fights way back in the day. Look at that power head kick from Cropcop. And just incredible. So I used to watch all the K-1 fights, so I probably have seen this, but if I have, it's probably been 15 or so years at least. I don't remember the outcome. I don't remember the result in any way. But a good technical display so far from both guys. Not getting too wound up. Although that's kind of leaving this round up for grabs at this point. Minute and 10 seconds left. Look at Cropcop just unleash. Oh, big uppercut. He's just hunting. Look at that low kick. Andy Hoog fires back, but unsuccessfully. Not finding the head on any of his shots, but nice low kick to finish off. And definitely gave Cropcop an edge in that round. Just good technical display. A lot of times you just have to watch these and just look for all the little details, things that you can learn from watching guys of this skill level compete. Don't just look at it like, oh, I'm going to be entertained by violence. Woo, big shots there, big exchange. I like how these guys are a little bit more even in the size. Like Cropcop's a little taller, but he doesn't look substantially bigger. I don't like in heavyweights how there's no weight limit, and one guy can have a massive advantage. You know, one guy's 200, 220 or something, but the other guy's 250. That's a dramatic, whoa, look at that axe kick. That's a dramatic weight difference. All right, I'll have to give the first round to Mirko Cropcop based on the aggression he displayed in the middle. That uppercut he landed was mean. It was a good shot. Moving into round two. There's that low kick. I'd like to see a little bit of a setup on that low kick. Nice low kick from Andy Hoog. Again, no setup though. It's a little surprising to me. When you hit a high level, it often becomes very difficult to land low kicks without some sort of setup. The guys are just too good at checking. Or as you enter, they'll throw the counter punch. You don't have to do it all the time, but generally try to set your low kicks up with something. Just like that. Cropcop was able to land because he distracted Hug before he threw. There are some fighters who can just throw straight up low kicks and be super damaging and land very often, but not most of them. This is a much closer round. Cropcop hasn't unloaded, landed any big uppercuts yet, so I'm kind of scoring it even at this point. We're halfway through the round. It's very impressive that Andy Hug can get those spinning techniques off so fast. He's generally very effective with them because look at the size of his body. He's a thick, strong guy. It's not something you would expect to see from somebody of his build. Or his flexibility. I mean, both these guys have incredible flexibility, which is also very impressive. That was a nice spinning side kick. Looks like Cropcop was complaining about it being on the belt line, but it looked fine to me. That one probably hurt a little bit. Sometimes when you block with your elbows or your forearms, it ends up hurting you. Good exchange there. That head kick was nicely blocked. If you overreach for head kicks, you're too early with it, it ends up getting caught. You can end up taking that kick, but because he took his time and blocked a little bit later, waited for the kick to almost make impact, he was able to grab. It's interesting how Andy Hug constantly touches his gloves together. His hands are very mobile. I'm going to move them around. Cropcop's hands are a little more relaxed. Oh, just as I say that, he goes on a bouncing spree with his hands, tapping them together. But Andy's just moving those hands a lot. And there's round 2. That was a close round. Nothing of massive significance, but I would have to say in terms of who won it, I'd edge it out to Andy Hug that round. Just a little bit more movement, a little bit more ring control, maybe a little bit more aggressiveness. Obviously, there's no knockdowns, which is the primary thing that you score. That's the first thing. After that is damage. I didn't see a whole lot of damage. Techniques landed. Didn't really count them out and score them, but it seemed relatively even. But I'd say Andy was just a little bit more in the last of the scoring criteria. Gives him the edge, in my mind. 1 round apiece. Moving into round 3. Lovely axe kick there. Cropcop just kind of throws it off, but it looks like it did enough damage there. Landed on the trap maybe. Wouldn't hurt in the moment, but next day, you can bet Cropcop's trap's going to be a little sore. Good job letting those hands go, but good fire back from Andy. I remember his nickname. The Blue-Eyed Samurai, I believe, was Andy Hug's nickname. That's a great fight nickname. So we haven't seen much of Cropcop's left body round kick, probably because the stance difference of Andy Hug. It's one of those techniques that works great against orthodox fighters, but does not work very well against somebody in your own stance. That's why you see somebody like Buakaw, because he's orthodox, often fighting orthodox fighters, he uses his left switch kick. Just with the body positioning, it works better. This is once again a relatively even round. The defense of these guys are both so fantastic. A lot of times we like fights with lots of damage, but as I said, that's not always going to be the case in fights, and you have to appreciate them for something other than just pure damage. And in this one, I'm impressed with the defense. Because both these guys are throwing hard. It's not like it's a pitter-patter fight. They're throwing very hard. Just like that. That was going to be a round kick, which kind of got jammed. Almost ended up being a knee to the head. So that spinning technique is not being successful in the sense it's landing for Andy Hoog, but it's just helping him control the tempo of the fight and keeping Cropcop honest on his distancing. Leans back a little far. It's a nice exchange there. So once again, that spinning kick just controlling the pace, controlling the distance a little bit. About 15 seconds left. I'd say so far, even though it's a close round, it's Andy Hoog in my book. He'll be taking this round unless Cropcop can do something dramatic in the last 10 seconds. Nice low kick from Andy. That was a powerful head kick from Mirko Cropcop, but didn't land, so it doesn't score. So in my books, we have it 2-1 for Andy Hoog. We're moving into round 4. Normally, K-1 fights are 3 rounds. So this must be some sort of special main event or maybe even a title fight. When Cropcop lets those hands go, the power is crazy. They look so hard. But Andy does an equally... Whoa! That was a mean axe kick. That one looked like it actually landed too. Cropcop took that... Oh! Cropcop with his own axe kick back, which also looked like it landed. I kind of nullify each other out with those axe kicks. Nice low kick. I still like to see a little more setup on those low kicks. Fire out a jab or something first. Draw the attention upwards. Let the legs go a little heavier. And then you fire in. Otherwise, that ends up happening where you throw a low kick and the guy checks it. Sometimes checking the low kick makes you feel better than actually throwing it. When somebody blocks, throwing and having somebody block it can really hurt. Just a little deep on that spinning back fist. Almost an elbow. But again, solid defense from both fighters so it doesn't land. Lovely front kick when Andy Hoog does his spin there. Just off balance him, get him out of range. No threat to Mirko Cropcop. Cropcop just needs a little bit more setup. Ooh, good shots there. A little more setup on that high kick. Look at this power. It's ferocious. That round kick looked like it might have been off his elbow. Oh, Cropcop just stealing this round here. And he comes back, but not with enough gusto to take away the dominance that Cropcop just displayed over that last 20-30 seconds of action. Looks like Hoog has a little bit of a cut on his lip, or has some blood dripping down there. Not surprising after all that abuse he just took in the turtle shell. Good defense by him, though. Never took a real rocking to the head, just shelled up and just fought through it, just weathered the storm. And he needs to do something to get this round back if it's important. He's definitely down. Which in my book would put it at 2 rounds apiece. Unless who can do something dramatic here. Nice cross though. Yeah, I would say that's 2 rounds apiece at this point. Oh, little back stretch. Going into the 5th and final round, because kickboxing fights don't go any longer than 5 ever. We're basically at the situation where whoever wins this round takes the fight, in my opinion. Could be wrong. There's a reason judges only judge and they don't commentate. It's hard to do both. But hopefully I'm doing the best I can here and you guys agree with me. 2 rounds apiece. I'm very surprised at the success both guys had with those axe kicks in the last round. Those were just phenomenal. I stopped throwing axe kicks years ago when I realized it's just hard to be effective with them. I would land, but I wouldn't generate enough power to really do anything of damage. If you're not going to do anything in damage, it's kind of like take it out of the arsenal. A little over 30 seconds in. Oh, good cross from Andy Hoog there. Cropcop was on the attack. A little lazy with his defense, and Andy Hoog just countered. Squeaks him up in the round in my books. First big technique to land of round 5. Cropcop hunting there, but not finding any good openings. Feel like he's got to just pick it up a little bit here. He's just getting a little outpaced. It's like the control of the fight is just slipping away a little bit. So maybe those spinning kicks, maybe he's tired. Maybe he thinks he's up. Oh, but good aggression from him there. A little dogfight in the middle. Punching out of the clinch. Always entertaining. Once again, Andy Hoog goes for that spinning kick. Cropcop does a fantastic job of just front kicking, knocking him away. It's not going to be a damage scoring technique, but it just helps control the pace of the fight. Got 1 minute left. I still have Andy Hoog up on the scorecards. His hands are just still moving all the time. Good punches followed by the low kick. That's when he lands. He lets his hands go first. Cropcop gets distracted, goes for the blocking, gets heavy on his legs. And then he can score. Got a nice little uppercut there from Cropcop. Not enough to get him back in the round yet. But still a good punch. Good read from Andy Hoog here. He saw the checkup, went an extra little bit low so he could land to the opposite leg. The standing leg of Cropcop. We have 22 seconds left. Nice counter hook there from Andy Hoog. 15 seconds. Cropcop's got to do something in my books to get this round. And if my scoring is correct, he's got to get the fight stamped down here in a couple seconds. Nice attack, but good defense. And a low kick finish by Hoog. And lovely fight. Again, not one where you're going to see people get knocked down, banged up. You're going to have people leaving with head impact and damage, but a good technical fight. Maybe not the one that everybody on the channel wanted. Maybe they wanted something a little bit more violent, but I just picked a random old school K-1 fight with 2 guys I recognized. And that's what we got. But I liked it. Let's see who gets the win here. See if my scoring was right. It's a close fight. And yes, it looks like Andy Hoog got the win. So my scoring was on point, assuming that the Japanese scoring was on point as well. They're not always the best at scoring. As I remember, there was a lot of sketchy decisions, but that was usually in favor of their Japanese fighters, maybe not in favor, or it wouldn't really happen when there were 2 foreign fighters. So guys, there you have it. Let me know in the comments below which fight you want me to cover next. Do you want me to go down to some really small guy? Should I go back to K1 Max? Or do you want another old school heavyweight K1 showdown? If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you haven't already, join the channel, get subscribed for tutorials, cardio tips, and lots of fights with commentary. Just so much on the channel. I try to provide you guys with everything I can think of that help me win the belts behind me. Guys, as I always say, train super hard, and I'll see you back here soon for another video.